Welcome to the Grovecast, a municipal podcast hosted by the city of Cottage Grove. We are trying something a little new here and going out on a limb just to get creative and hear from folks who work at the city or live in the community here. Our hope is to demystify city government while also showcasing the real human beings who provide the services that you rely on every day and work for you every day. And so I'm your co-host, Phil Jentz, the city's communications manager.
Hi, welcome back, everyone. I am Emily Schmitz. I'm the Community Development Director here at the city.
Yeah, Emily, welcome back.
Thanks, Phil.
You came back.
I did. The first time we had so much fun. Just wait till you hear who our guest is today. I mean, we had a great conversation, but today is going to be
it is going to be exciting. Yeah. Before we get to that, just like we said in that first episode, our goal here is just to highlight how the city operates, talk about what each department and division does, what services are provided, and then learn a little bit about the people who do serve you. And not most importantly, of course, but last time we talked about superpowers, Emily.
We did.
Do we need to revisit that?
Well, you made me think.
I think you said invisibility. I said flying.
Yeah.
Have you thought about it since?
And I reevaluate. I'm like, flying, how fantastic would that be? On a morning like today, it's tricky weather.
As we're recording this, it's not
as we're
great
recording
outside.
it's not. But, those are the days where you're like, if I could just snap my fingers, if I could fly over all of it, right?
You're going flying?
Yeah, so I think, Phil, you really had a good perspective on that superpower.
I'm not changing my answer at all.
I wouldn't.
I want to fly, and that's my superpower if I'm picking it.
Yeah, I support.
All right, well, Emily, you alluded to it.
I did.
And this person with us today almost certainly doesn't need an introduction, but it is an audio medium. No one can see you because they're listening to this.
Yeah.
So with us today, Mayor Myron Bailey. Mayor, welcome.
Thank you. And I really appreciate being here and being kind of the first of the podcast, if you will, for the citizens of Cottage Grove. So really happy to be here.
You are indeed the first official guest.
Yeah.
For better or worse, all they heard last time was just me and Emily talking.
It was. We talked about macaroni and cheese and Jimmy John sandwiches. I mean, Myron, if there's got to be something more exciting, and I know we've got some good topics of conversation this time around, so that'll be good.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, Mayor, you heard a little bit about our preferred or chosen superpowers. I got to know. I mean, you're the mayor of Cottage Grove, but if you could have a superpower beyond being mayor, what is it?
Wow. No, it's funny. You talk about superpower, and at first I was thinking, this, like a Superman kind of thing. But you talked both about flying, and I think that's what I would want to do. I literally would want to do that. I'd want to be like Superman, where I can just get up and go, right? And fly through it and maybe go on a vacation. And
in an instant, Mayor, you could be on the beach.
Yes. I'd love it. I think that would be fantastic.
I'm telling you.
It is.
That's the one to pick.
Right? A beach, a mountain. I don't know. Are you a beach guy, a mountain guy?
I'm probably more of a beach guy.
Are you?
Put me down by the ocean or on somewhere out there is really
soak in the vitamin D.
Absolutely.
I'm with you. Yeah, don't make me hike a mountain. I don't.
Well, you won't have to hike it if you can fly it.
That's true. You just go to the top. No big deal.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Myron, I tell you, I have a burning question. And I hope this kicks off our conversation. But I am so curious. I think you've been the mayor for 16 years, going on 17, the Sound of Music kind of thing. But Mayor, what triggered you to say, today I'm going to run for mayor of Cottage Grove? I have to know.
Well, it's funny. At first, before I became mayor, I was on the planning commission for quite a few years, and then obviously ran for council. And a little bit before I tell you about the mayor thing, I'll just mention, for the public out there, the very first time I ran for city council, I just kind of assumed, if you will, that, this is going to be it. We're going to do it, and I'm going to get on, and everything's great. And I didn't win.
Oh, really?
I didn't win the first time.
I didn't know that.
I did not win the first time. And so after that happened, I kind of reassessed. I had actually met up with some of the council members, the mayor at the time, Mayor Sandy Shealy.
Yeah.
And basically said at this particular time, just got to put more effort into it, which I did. I just assumed people knew who I was, planning commission that, but obviously a lot of people in the community didn't. And so I did a lot of door-to-door. And so the second time when I ran for council, I won handedly. And ironically, Carla Bingham, our county commissioner, was also running for council at the same time.
Okay.
And she's probably going to listen to this podcast. She ain't going to live this down. I beat her.
I was just going to say, you continue to bring that up to this day.
I do.
I imagine.
Do.
Good.
And she doesn't like it. And she'll tell people, she said, well, you're the only one that's beat me,
I love this. So when Emily and I spoke, Emily kind of threw down like community development's the best department, because of course she's going to say that.
And I'm feeling better now. I'm not the only one who's going to do that.
And now the mayor,
I
like it. I like it. We're setting a tone here early, and I'm here for it.
There we go. Well, and so running for mayor, at the time, Cottage Grove was kind of in a growth spurt. I know we're doing some growth spurting right now, if you will, but we're in a growth spurt. But there was a real sense back then where our council and the mayor at the time, who I worked with very well, really wanted to kind of keep that bedroom community feel. Right. And we had a couple situations where we have some big developers or big retailers that wanted to come to town, and they were, just from my opinion, they were kind of making excuses why we didn't want to have them here. And that bothered me, knowing creating jobs and opportunities. I kept hearing, as I do today, about all the things that we want in Cottage Grove, right, to make our community better. And so I just said, you know what, I'm gonna run for mayor. And I wouldn't have ran right off the bat if Mayor Shealy had not decided she's not running again. So I did run for mayor and won, obviously. And I guess the rest is kind of history.
It's history,
And obviously I ran on a platform of communication, which is cool, like we're doing on this thing, getting the information out to the public in every way we can, and then trying to build our community into something bigger and better. Obviously, I was born and raised here, in Cottage Grove, so I love the community.
Yeah.
Majority of my family is still here, my kids, my grandkids, my mom.
Nice.
And so definitely want to keep that feel and let everybody else experience what I did growing up in this great community.
Yeah. So. Yeah, your roots go deep, Mayor.
Do.
They do. And something about that must have called you to be a public servant, right? I mean, you have this whole history, this whole base. You grew up here and you want to continue to see this community grow. I'm just genuinely impressed. You took the step.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Well, and so building off of that, what has kept you in public service all this time? It is not always the most rewarding or glamorous thing. It costs a great deal of time and personal work-life balance sacrifices. So what's kept you in it all these years?
Well, I think the community, the people in the community have done that to a good extent. Our staff, honestly, as I'm speaking to both of you, yeah, exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
But being able to see positive change happen within the community. So way back from when I first started as mayor, there was some discussion, obviously, about a new City Hall public safety building. That was probably my first big project, if you will, and there was some dissension in the community, with a certain amount of people that did not feel it was necessary, but we did it. And even some of those people that didn't feel it was necessary came up to me afterwards and said it was the right thing to do.
They appreciated it.
They did appreciate it. And so that's really, where it was. And I will tell you, I have a lot of my family friends, if you will, had people that were maybe in local politics. I was very good friends. Matter of fact, I was on former Mayor Jack Denzer's campaign to become mayor. My wife and I both. And so we were on his campaign. He's the one that actually got me into the planning commission when he won as mayor.
Yep.
Roger Peterson and Myra Peterson. Myra, of course, Roger was a mayor in Cottage Grove for many years, and Myra was our county commissioner. So I had these connections. Former council member Jim Wolcott, who has since passed, unfortunately, was also a great mentor for me. So those are some of the people that I kind of modeled myself after and learned from to create what I am today, I guess, as a mayor. Yeah,
so you had those connections, Mayor, and those helped you recognize what the value of being a mayor is, and that helped you to, I'm going to say, take that leap, right?
Yes.
The door knocking, it got you to that point.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I think happened. And then, just to this day, just communication. When things aren't going the greatest, you still communicate. Right. When things are not being stated positively or incorrectly, you try to share the positives or what the correct information is. And if I do hear anything from our majority of our citizens, whether it's through social media or off of social media, they comment about the fact that I'm very open and honest, and I'm not afraid to share. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, which is, I know in today's politics isn't necessarily the thing that everybody believes in. So there's always that skepticism there. I get it. But I don't want people to feel skeptical about what I stand for or what I say that representing the city.
Yeah. Mayor, I got to know, so what is something about being the mayor that people might not know?
Yeah, I want to know this too.
When I was young, I'm still quite young. Nobody can see me, but I am. But I never truly understood, what a mayor was. I don't know. You just think it's this person that's just there. But as I've obviously been lucky enough to have the position I'm in my career, but now I genuinely know. But man, mayor, what is something that folks just are like, that's what the mayor does? It's kind of a big question because there might be a couple of things.
There's probably is a couple of things. So I'm almost interested
How
to hear
much time do you got?
Yeah, I know, right? Just this phantom in the sky.
Well, what I will share with you, which I think is kind of cute, is usually when I'm going into classrooms and or Boy Scouts, Girl Scout troops meetings, whatever, they all think, as the mayor, I live in this big mansion.
The mayor's mansion.
The mayor's mansion.
The non-existent mayor's mansion.
That is correct.
That's great.
Where's my limo? My Secret Service.
Put that in the budget.
That is cute. That is
so sweet.
And to a certain extent, I don't think a lot of our public even really knows that.
Right.
At City Hall, I don't have an office.
No.
I literally, my office, I guess, is the council dais, right?
Yeah.
The council chambers. Right. And so I do a lot of my work, if you will, at home or just meeting up at City Hall with people or such like that. So a lot of people think it's a full-time job, and it's not. Right. Can I make it, and do I make it a full-time job? A lot of times, yes. But that's by desire. That's something that I want to do. Yeah. I will also share, you have to have being the mayor, and well, frankly, I'll even say council too, but being the mayor, you have to have a family that understands and supports you. Yeah.
They're in it with you for sure.
Absolutely.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I could tell a little story. Some people have heard maybe this before, depending who's listening, but a lot of times citizens will call. I don't have a home line anymore. Okay, I'll just say that, so we don't have a home line.
In 2025, you don't.
Just got rid of it.
Good.
Just got rid of it.
Oh, fantastic.
Not because of what I'm going to say.
But, no.
Yeah. But, no, obviously my cell phone's out there, but people would call my house, or the number, because it was out on the internet and so on, and they would start screaming at my wife. I normally never answer the home phone. And she would answer the phone, and if I'm there, I could hear, because she's like, ma'am or sir, she'd be trying to get a word in edgewise. And then she'd finally say that I'm the mayor's wife. And then they pause, and then they're apologetic.
Yeah.
And they're like, I thought I was calling his office. So when I talk about the office, now part of me, I'll just say it on this at this podcast. On one hand, I don't like that either, because I'm thinking, is it okay for you to call and scream at what would be my secretary?
Right.
As much as
just someone who works there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, let's all, take a deep breath and calm down. Whatever your issue is, we'll figure it out.
Right.
You don't have to
talk it out.
Scream at the secretary if it was secretary or my
or
wife
your
in
wife,
this case.
for Pete's sake,
So, but that's the big thing is, she has to, my wife and all the kids and grandkids, they all understand that, hey, Grandpa's got to go to a council meeting on this night or whatever, and I'm going to miss hockey or something like that. So there is definitely sacrifices I make, but I make them with the fact that my family is good with it.
And to have that support system too, I'm sure it has to be just massively important.
It is.
You couldn't do it. I couldn't imagine doing something like that without that support system for sure. And so, Mayor, any issues in particular? Not that I assume you could pick a favorite. But are there any issues that you worked on over the years that you are particularly fond of or particularly proud of?
Yeah, there's, being that I've been the mayor for 16 years.
So much in 16 years. How do you?
Or what's your least favorite? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I'd have to really think about the least favorite. But, even before I became mayor, which is going to be interesting to say this, I had to convince the council and the mayor at the time that adding an additional sheet of ice to the ice arena was going to be a benefit to the community, not just for families of ice, the families that have kids that skate or whatever. And I was able at that time, because I had kids in
playing hockey.
Playing hockey.
Right.
And we were doing for my son who was younger, like in still elementary school, we had to take him to the River Falls for a practice at 9:30 on a school night.
Because there was nowhere else to go.
There was nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
And so being able to talk about that and the more tournaments and that, it was really kind of cool because the council at that time then said, yeah, let's do this. And we added the additional sheet of ice. And the rest is history. That arena is one of the best arenas in the state of Minnesota.
People seek us out. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one is my first kind of forte, if you will, into something I'm real proud of is getting that over the line. The City Hall Public Safety Building, it took a lot of arrows, if you will,
right?
At the time, and still sticking it out. I did literally have people come up to me and say, "Hey, you could just say no.
Yeah.
You get to say this is not worth it.
Right.
The fight and all that." But I'm like, no, if it's something that we're passionate about, and it's worth doing. Then we need to do it.
Yeah.
Doing the right thing is not always the easy thing.
That is correct.
And the political cost that comes with that too can be significant. So I can appreciate that, especially taking the arrows, like you said. It's not the easy thing to do, but sounds like the right thing to do.
Yeah. And I guess the other, the more challenging one, if you will, that we had, and that is when we finally got the notification that we had PFAS in our water.
Yeah.
And with very little notice, like a day, we had to shut down all sprinkling systems in the city.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I do remember getting phone calls from pregnant mothers and restaurants and businesses, crying and saying, "Is my baby going to be okay?" And as a mayor, I can only know so much. And trying to calm people down and make sure that they felt, we got their back.
Yeah.
And, and then I always was able to, in my case, state, and still to this day, my kids, my grandkids, I drink the water. I feel it's safe.
Yeah.
And especially now that we have the programs that we have in place, specifically, I think that calms people down because they know that I'm not drinking bottled water because I'm worried about the water in Cottage Grove, because I'm not.
Right. And that was a lot of work up to this point. It's feeling better.
And still getting there, right?
Yeah, right. Mayor, so Phil and I, and we mentioned this at the beginning, one of our last questions that we chatted about was if you were going to lunch in Cottage Grove, where would you choose? What is your favorite? And just in case, most folks listen, but I'm Jimmy John's through and through. Phil,
we even went through your specific order.
We did. So if anybody wants to buy me lunch, it's out there. But and Phil is just he's just French fries.
Well, the thing with bad French fries are still
French fries.
They're still French fries. So it's you're not going to turn them down.
So he's easy to please, Mayor. So we got to know where's your lunch spot?
Oh my goodness, my lunch spot.
Or could we say dinner spot, lunch or dinner?
Or just favorite food. What's your favorite food?
Yeah.
I like anything chicken finger-ish, right? So I was very, very happy just recently, if you didn't know this, that Arby's got their potato cakes back.
Did they?
And they said they're back forever now. And I'm a potato cakes guy.
Nice.
Meat and potatoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There.
True Minnesotan.
So I know you said French fries, but for me it's potato cakes.
So fried foods, we're sensing a theme.
So I would go into Arby's and say, okay, I'll have the chicken fingers, but I want the upsize the potato cakes.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would do because I love the potato cakes.
This is good. Yeah. This is good. I'm taking notes.
So mac and cheese, French fries, chicken. Got it.
Yeah.
Clearly, all the comfort foods. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mayor, that's it. We're running out of time. It happens rapidly, I know, but we do really want to thank you for coming in. Obviously, as we've learned here today, you're very busy, and we do appreciate the time to come in and chat here on the first official.
I know.
Episode.
And I think this is so awesome. Mayor, we're going to have so many conversations that stem from this one. It was good to, I'm so excited to hear your story and how you ended up where you are. I've been around a little while and I know we've worked together a long time, but man, that's 16 years. It's a good chunk.
It's a long time. And I do appreciate it. I do, like I said, thank you guys for putting this on and for myself and for this, love the community. love the citizens, love the input, and we'll continue to grow and prosper into the future. And whether I'm the mayor for the for future or somebody else comes in, we'll keep the message out there and keep it going forward.
Yeah, and have a good time in the process.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
You never know. People learning about what it takes to be a mayor on a podcast. When those little inspirational seeds of a future mayor get planted. Who knows? Who knows is out there listening?
As long as they get to ride in a limo.
As long as they get a limo, a mansion.
Well, you get to be at the front of the parade most of the time, so there you go.
You gotta take something.
There are some fringe benefits to that.
There's some perks, yeah. Well, thank you again, Mayor. We really appreciate it. And thanks, everyone, of course, for listening. This has been the Grovecast, a City of Cottage Grove municipal podcast. You can catch episodes monthly and listen or download. Find us at CottageGroveMN.gov/thegrovecast or wherever you get your podcasts. Stay tuned for our next episodes where we'll move on to other departments, city services, or other topics. Thanks for listening.